Do you have a smartphone? Probably. Me too.
Oh, God.
Download the Darkside Records and Gallery mobile app from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. Apple Store? Still called the Apple Store? iTunes Store? The store on Apple
Store.
on Apple devices. You can check out this week's new releases. You can browse our web store. You can order things, check out our events, and you will also get access to the Used Twos list, full of all kinds of spicy gooch. I hate the word too, but we got to say it. So download
it's
the
out of my
Darkside
hands, Chief.
download the Darkside Records and Gallery app now. Right now.
Is it free?
Probably.
Hey, Internet. Looking forward to an upcoming release. Maybe you even know about it before we do, because that's the way the Internet works. Let us know. It's the best way to guarantee yourself a copy on release day. Hit us up, darksiderecords.com, in-store, via phone, any way you want it. That's the way you got it.
Oh, yeah. That one got a round of applause.
I see.
All right.
Good. It was timely.
Good ad.
This is the Darkside Records and Gallery podcast.
So, JB,
Yes.
do you realize that the lead singer of Torch looks like Farva?
Oh, God damn it.
I literally turned to him at one point in like the middle of their set and was like, dude, Farva's on the mic.
Yeah. Yeah. Now that you've said it, I won't be able to unsee it. I was slightly attracted to Farva.
You should offer him a liter of cola.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's the jolliness.
Indeed. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Darkside Records.
Podcast.
I was going to say not gallery,
Oh.
but welcome to the Darkside
Not gallery.
Records podcast. This, of course, is a podcast about music, the music industry, brought to you by the great folks at Darkside Records, located, of course, at 611 Duchess Turnpike in Poughkeepsie.
You got a little Boys to Men on me for a
Thank you, thank you.
Sorry, little
I'm trying
harmony.
to spice it up for the podcast, you know.
Yeah, there's a little Shawnee Spicer over here.
Oh God, no. Or of course, you can also find us on the web at Darkside Records.
Anyone else miss him?
.com.
Sometimes I miss him.
Nah.
No,
I miss
I'm
what's
good.
her face.
I'm good.
Scary Spice.
Given the two, I would take him.
Yeah.
This, of course, is a podcast about music, the music industry,
Sean Spicer.
Yep.
Fun,
Sean Spicer.
and dick jokes.
Oh, that. Too.
Oh, lots of those.
That's right. If you don't already subscribe to our podcast, go. You can get it on Spotify now. We haven't been here in a while. We've got some updates we got to talk about because we took a little time off. We took a couple weeks off.
Sabbatical.
That's right. Had to refresh the brain cells. Clearly, that's working out real well for us. Of course, I'm JB.
I'm JJ.
I'm Brian.
Me first? I'm Mike Birds.
I mean, technically, you're fourth if you really want to be specific.
okay.
And I'm Berto.
So hey guys, how's it going?
Hey.
I haven't seen everyone in a while. We do have a special guest here with us this week.
You've already introduced him.
Well, I just introduced
Yeah,
myself.
he just introduced himself.
Technicality. We have a special guest on the podcast this week. Friend of the store, friend of the soundtrack section. Our friend Mike Burge from Story Screen is here.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
Hi, Mike.
How's it going?
It's going really good. I'm having a pretty good day.
This is your day off, right?
No.
Tomorrow's
no,
your day
I showed up actually a little late today because I was coming from where I work to get here. Tomorrow is my first day off in a very long time, and I'm very excited about it.
Cool.
So this is kind of the beginning of my little mini vacation. It's nice. No. It's going great so far.
Okay, so I guess we'll just get right to the meat and potatoes of this thing.
Yeah, go for it.
You don't eat meat and potatoes.
Let's get.
Tofu and potatoes.
See, it just doesn't sound as good though.
Your jackfruit and potatoes.
Even
Jackfruit, that was a nice one.
even all acknowledge it doesn't sound as good. You need I need a good one syllable word for like peas and potatoes. Let's get right to the peas and potatoes because
Right down to the soybeans of this motherfucker.
because peas, of course, are the only complete protein that exists in nature, so they're good for you. Don't ask me to research any of that information.
I'd like to see your sources.
I probably fucked that
Yeah,
up.
I mean, I'll get to the point since JB is so bad at doing it. I run China Cafe in Plattsburgh, New York. It's an
Friend of the store.
amazing Chinese restaurant. Come on
I have
in.
some ethnic questions.
When you go in and you order your food, just tell them Darkside Records sent you, and you will get 50% off. And if they try to argue with you, keep pushing.
Just leave without paying.
Maybe a weird question, but have you ever had a customer, bald head, maybe a beard? His name is Eves. Does that sound familiar? I think he's from that area.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
All these people that watch movies just kind of blend together in my mind.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
At the
At China Garden.
Cafe.
China Garden? China Cafe?
China Cafe in Plattsburgh, New York.
I can't believe you remembered that.
Yeah.
I mean, you own the business.
Sharp
you
as
would
a
remember
tack.
it, but-
That makes sense. That makes sense, right.
I pay rent.
Write out the checks every month.
I don't remember the name of this place half the time.
I'm going to take a quick moment here just to mention that, Mike, while you're here, please feel free. We have a selection of beverages that are on the counter here. You're welcome to.
Oh,
any
thank
and
you
all.
so much. What would you recommend?
Yeah, actually, that's what our side conversation was before. I'm sorry that I offered you one of these beers because they apparently expired January 29th, 2019. I bought these 2 weeks ago at the gas station.
Oh, okay. All right,
so
cool.
thank you,
Tastes great.
Sunoco.
Brian, when I put you in charge of hospitality for guests, this is the kind of performance I can expect.
Yes.
Look, to be fair, Best
No,
Buy
that's good.
dates are not regulated in any capacity and are total bullshit.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, now you have him on another tangent. You see the problem here.
What about Sam Adams? They go in and they buy back all their stuff that's expired.
That's just what the commercials.
exactly. It's all fucking
seen 'em.
marketing.
I've seen them there buying shit back.
But what you haven't
They do
seen
stuff.
is you haven't seen that back room that they bring it to where they just stamp a new date and kick it right the fuck back out there.
Peel the label off and
That's
call
it.
Budweiser.
I was about to make a joke
Anheuser-Busch.
about. I was about to make a joke about being on the wrong podcast, but no, I'm on the right podcast.
Yes, yeah, you are.
This is exactly what this is.
But the point of this whole thing was to say that we have a couple beers here who were graciously donated by the good folks at Alewife Brewing. We got 3 that you could choose from. So if you'd like to try any Alewife Brewing and leave a review of it at the end of this podcast,
Absolutely.
then we might get more free beers out of this. Is really what I'm getting. at.
Okay. What are the?
We're
what are the
really bad
different
at
types we got
sponsorships.
going on over here? It looks like we got 3 different types.
3 different types.
Okay.
I'm holding a double dry hopped India Pale Ale.
Sounds nice. Next.
I've got a double India Pale Ale called the Lupulin Vibrator. Sorry, Vibration. Lupulin Vibrations.
Also sounds nice. What's the last
I
one?
thought it was the Lopin the Third Vibrator. Ooh. That's a joke for a very specific subset of anime nerds. That's
All right.
just go.
I didn't
got
get
a,
it.
Wrong
Perfect.
podcast.
I've got a tried and true Pilsner here. 1,000 stars.
I think that'll be it if you guys don't mind.
I've got
Do it.
Irish whiskey.
Oh, is that Jameson?
It is. It's James' son. Yeah.
I love Jameson.
James's son.
I can just open this? And
Yeah.
it's okay?
Yeah, drink.
Wow. Oh my god. We have cups. Like, did somebody want to try this as well? I don't
I'll
want
have
to.
a
I don't want to
little
take
taste
it
of
all. Yeah. Let's pour it in the same. Thank you.
You can get more content like this on our Patreon.
You looked at the camera too. You just looked at the fucking
did.
non-existent camera.
I did.
Giving me shit.
Right? Hey,
Although to be say, we should all just assume there are cameras watching us everywhere.
I mean, technically that's true right now.
yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
Facial
We
recognition
could
and all
have
that
the
shit.
real Patreon from over there.
Oh my god.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thank you.
I did read an article last week that was a tech guy saying that the way you know how people put Band-Aids over their computer cameras now that are built into your monitors?
Yes.
He was saying that we should now be covering our forward-facing cameras on our cell phones
Oh yeah.
because they are the same level of security that is vulnerable on desktop computers is also the same risk on your phone, so you should be covering that as well.
Edward Snowden told me that like 5 years ago.
All I'm gonna do is just start staring my phone down my crotch, camera down first. See how long they watch.
They moved the terminal.
Hey, JB. By the way, which? Why am I here again?
We'll find out together, my friend.
Was that a good way to like loop around back, or do we're still doing this for a little
He
while?
is so bad at staying on task.
I like that he's giving you shit about episodes.
Okay.
Hey man, I host my own
You know how it
series.
took us like an
podcast.
hour and a half to get him
Look,
out of an alley the other night.
Yeah, when you get a professional in front of you, you got to start to mock them to kind of bring them down a little bit. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
That's good.
we're like some of the best Hudson Valley podcasts out there, just all here right at one table.
That's right. Quick thank you to Hudson Valley Magazine for including us in their list of the top 8
Big
Hudson
thank you.
Valley podcasts.
Yeah.
That's right. I noticed you were number 8.
We were number 7, and they go in descending order. So I noticed you were
So you're
number
still
8 on that.
You're still number 7 then.
Yeah. I think it was alphabetical.
Genuine thank you to Hudson Valley Magazine for including us all.
Really cool.
All
that was like
us
the
in that
funnest
list.
thing in the world.
Yeah.
Somebody brought that up to me.
It was nice that they
Really?
included all 8 podcasts recorded in the Hudson Valley in the same magazine.
Oh, I should look at. Actually, they didn't. And in fact, I
Oh, that's right.
commented.
They skipped somebody. Oh, right, Dead Radio.
I actually. I actually commented on that post with a few other local podcasts that I thought were, maybe noteworthy for even if just for someone who's looking at the article to go
Dude,
check
there are
out.
tons of awesome podcasts in the Hudson Valley that weren't on that list, and so being on it was kind of like, that's really cool. But also,
Yeah.
I'm mad at you for not including these people. But like, also, thank you. By the way, too, because I know that if I were listening to this, I would be losing my fucking mind.
That's what we
I'm
go
Mike
for.
Burge, and I host Story Screen Presents podcast. I host Over Drinkers, and we do like a bunch of podcasts over there, and I'm sure we'll get into that. Whatever you want to do. I don't want to steamroll that, but I would be losing my mind right now if I was listening to this podcast for 10 minutes and I still didn't know who that weird voice guy was.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Look,
I don't even think we've actually said where.
Look,
no, I don't know.
You
Yeah,
mentioned it in the
I'm so
live-
sorry to
the
steamroll
live
it,
thing.
but I'm trying to help out
Hey,
everybody else
Mike,
that's
do you
like
want
me out
to produce our podcast here at Darkside Records?
Oh, I'd absolutely love to.
look. For the record, that's what motherfucking metadata is for. Okay, people know what the fuck they're gonna listen to. It's in the description. It's in the title. They know going in. You don't just fucking turn on a podcast without looking at what the podcast episode is.
I do.
Sometimes I do. Sometimes I just wing it.
Actually, that leads me to maybe a topic.
Okay.
Now he's all pissy. now we've bruised him.
No, I'm just trying
Oh
to
my
look
God,
at.
I think that I just destroyed the podcast.
I'm trying to look at our podcast statistics online to see if we got a Hudson Valley Magazine bump from
Welcome
that
to
article.
the final Darkside podcast.
This week's stats.
When you're watching shit on like Netflix or Hulu or whatever, do you read the episode descriptions before you watch?
Every single time.
I fucking
God,
go out of my
no.
way not to.
Really?
No,
I have
not
no
well. It
interest
depends.
in knowing.
It depends on, I guess, what I'm watching. Like if it's a show like Stranger Things, I will not read the episode description because I want to be surprised.
Yeah.
Sometimes like a documentary or something, I'll double check like the description to see if it is what it sounds like or something.
You know, like, do you guys watch Documentary Now? The Fred Armisen and Bill Hader, like, documentary spoof series? It's on Netflix. It's fucking amazing. And each one is, like, shot in the same vein as, like, an older documentary. And so they have, like, a weird name for it. But if you read the description, you'll be like, this is a spoof on this documentary. And as somebody who's, like, watched a lot of documentaries in film school or anything like that, I'll go, oh, what is this doing? What is this spoofing? And I'll read that then. But if I'm watching like Stranger Things or like Jessica Jones or any of these like Netflix stuff where I'm like watching a series, I'm not gonna read that because they tell you like what happens.
Yeah. Although I
that's
should
also-
really just finish Jessica Jones and just read the descriptions because
It's
I
way
can't
better
get through
off.
season
Way
2.
better off. Yeah.
Oh,
It's been years.
Guys, Jessica Jones is really good.
I can't push through season 2.
Season 1 was
Yeah,
great.
Season 2's a little rough. Ends very well. I will give you that.
All right.
I'll tell you. You got to get through
3.
it. Just like any, it's so like this 13 episode shit is just too much. But this is Dorkside stuff. I'm sorry.
Leave it.
Oh my God.
So I just want to point out really quick that in the week that this article's been out, we had 13 downloads, and the week prior we had 23 downloads. So it actually hurt.
When was the last episode that you posted?
3 months ago.
April. End of April. Yeah.
Your statistics.
All I'm
I think
saying.
it's really impressive that you got 13 downloads from an episode you posted 3 months ago.
Thank you.
Very good.
23 the week before.
Yeah,
That's
23.
That's weird. Yeah.
When we do this thing for real, when we're like, on top of it, we do pretty well.
It's because we're colorful.
That's it.
We're a colorful staff.
That was how they called us in the description on Hudson Valley Magazine's article.
Oh, that's right. They did call you colorful. You guys are a colorful cast of characters.
It's a nice way
I
to
think
say
it's because
they
we
cuss
swear a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It can't be
that's a
ethnically
nice word.
diverse,
That's the
'cause
G-rated version of saying
I am
they
the
curse a
blackest
whole
guy
lot.
at this table.
Well, fuck.
I was trying to figure out because, again, thank you so much for having me on. Long-time listener, first-time guest. But I don't know, and I've come in here a lot, and I've literally spoken words with all of you here at this table before, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
Not me.
Not you?
No. Hey, Mike. I'm Berto.
Hey, Bruno. Yeah. You were the one that I was like, who's that guy? And I tried to like picture who everybody was, and I couldn't really place it. And now I'm trying, and I didn't hear the introductions
I'm here on holidays.
either. So I know Berto. I got that right away, immediately as soon as you started talking about we were doing like the pre-vid thing. But who's JJ?
That's me.
That's you. You're JJ.
I'm JJ.
Oh, I would have thought you were JJ.
That's DK.
Oh,
I'm not
this
on
makes
all the time.
sense.
Just
Well, right. Usually
Co-hosts,
it's
yeah,
JB
like-
and Berto, and then sometimes JJ's kind of just like the no offense at all, like the jester. That's just
Oh,
kind
you're
of
talking
like
Dorkside?
Dorkside. Yeah.
Everything
Because
I can do to
I'm
He doesn't really-
I mainly listen to
He doesn't
Dorkside.
partake. He just
I mock.
yeah.
Yeah. And I
To
was
the best of my ability, which is not very well.
I imagined you as
Don't say
like
yourself
a
down.
like 4'9", like just like little jester,
like a
Just
troll.
yeah.
A Tyrion Lannister,
But
if you
you
will.
look great.
That's just my body.
You actually look great in real life, so it's very nice to finally meet you.
So wait, so that actually brings up something, which is I personally kind of hate like if I'm really into a podcast, I kind of hate seeing the cast in real life. I'd also actually stay away from like their social media and shit like that because
Yeah, don't meet your heroes, man.
yeah, there's been ones where like I'll
billion
finally
percent.
see a picture of them and I'm like, oh, that is not how I pictured you guys at all, and it kind of takes away from the podcast to me. I mean, eventually, like I'll get over it, whatever. But being that you're on the spot now, how do you feel about that?
No, I like it. I've been on the receiving ends, like with the podcast, where people have been like, I've been serving people, like when I do like bartending or waiter gigs, and I've had multiple instances where I'm serving people at like bars that I'm working at, and they'll go, "Are you Mike Burge?" Because they'll hear my voice and I'll be like, and it sounds so fucking weird. I'm just like, oh no, I do this like stupid podcast on the side for fun, which I'm very insanely proud of, and I really like doing it, but I never take it all that seriously in the sense that other people actually listen to it. Like I see the numbers and people do, but I never think I'm gonna bump into these people. And they're just like, "Are you Mike Burge from Story Screen?" And I'm like, yeah. And they're like, "Oh, I love your podcast. It's so good. You're nothing what I thought you looked like." And I'm like, "What did you think I looked like?" And they're
See?
like, "I don't know." Like, and they don't
That
go
means something
for it, which
insulting.
means like they thought I looked better looking. Otherwise, they would have said like, "Oh, I thought you would have been ugly, but you look really good." When they say nothing, you're like, "Oh, you thought I looked better than I actually do," which is I look like a person that runs a podcast.
Right.
I thought you were Fran Drescher. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, but no, you guys look great.
oh, thank you.
I will be honest, I'm really more like I was wondering where it was recorded, how it was recorded, what's the ambiance around
the ambiance
room.
are these really bright, unnecessary lights for an audio-only show. Yeah.
I feel like I'm in like a fan film for The Matrix. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
no,
what I
you
wanted.
basically that's essentially what
It's
it is.
good.
Yeah.
If you don't like green, I can make them different colors.
There's flashing pink. For
What
black.
colors
I
could you
can.
possibly make?
Well,
these?
they can strobe. They could be the full gamut of colors around the rainbow. Here, I'll just go change some colors. You tell me.
no. Stick with
You
green.
Well, why don't we just rein him in? We'll just rein him in.
I was gonna say if you don't like green, you
Use
can't
your
come to Darkside
imagination.
Well, when we do another live video podcast, I'll experiment with some colors. I'm lying. It's just going to be white. So people
Thanks,
can
Mike.
actually see
Now
shit.
we have that to look forward to. Because it's going to happen next time when you're not here,
You're welcome.
and I'm having a seizure.
We actually did. You in fact are sitting in a chair that is, I guess, also concurrently being used as part of our promo for the new Black Keys album, Let's Rock. That's not a plug, by the way. And so we made this little listening station display that was set up to look like the album cover, which is, of course, an electric chair.
I thought this was an homage to Death Row Records.
It's actually a piece talking about capital punishment in the United States and
Right,
trying to raise
Death Row
awareness
Records.
for it.
Yeah.
Right, same thing. Yeah.
Okay.
Suge Knight.
Fry him.
What?
What? Nothing. What? Only if they're innocent, though. You should only kill the innocent. Sends a message.
Well, either way, I'm honored.
Just so you are aware, Brodo's going to be running for public office at some point in the future. And
He's got my fucking vote.
And I am saving every outtake that I cut from this show.
He could
I
do
save
anything
every
on this
single one.
podcast. He could slap me, and I'd still vote for him.
Thank you, Mike.
You're welcome.
Need a Secretary of State.
Hey, does it pay? Because I'm a podcaster. I don't know if you know it. Need a little money.
Oh, I thought you were going to say you're raking in those Patreon bucks.
Nope, we don't do Patreon.
Okay, let's talk Patreon in the future. Maybe we can actually set up Patreons that work for
We should do
both
like
of our
a
platforms.
joint Patreon kind of thing,
I mean, we could.
right?
Very well. So you run, in addition to several great podcasts, you recently opened Story Screen Theater in Beacon, New York.
Story Screen Beacon Theater, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Fun.
I have yet to get there to check it out.
Dude, it's so good.
I gotta get down there.
It's not even, it sucks because like I own it and I run it, and so obviously I'm going to talk really good stuff about it. If I bumped into that theater somewhere, especially in like a place like around here, you'd be like, what the fuck? It's really cool. And I hate like coming across as like backpacking or anything like that, but it's like really fucking cool. It's like the best seats, the best projections.
I'm
the
gonna
best
ask an important
sound.
question.
It's
How's
so
the
cool.
lumbar support compared to South Hills Mall Cinema, circa 5 years ago? Because my chiropractor still can't fix me.
I would say that it is more Kate Blanchett than Kate Beckinsale. If you understand
Okay,
what I mean
okay.
by that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't get that reference at all.
Underworld.
One's just a little nicer.
nicer.
Like to other people or
Just in
One
general.
looks good when the lights are low and they're in leather, and the other one's just fucking
one you'd
classy.
like to sit on more than the other?
Yeah.
I mean,
Then that reference makes sense. You see?
I had to remember that I wasn't on my own podcast. I was like, yeah, you can answer that question like that. On my podcast, we try to be super woke. So on here, I'm going to let the freak flag fly.
Let it fly, man.
Goes at Darkside.
if you say anything too bad, he just edits it out, and then it will just blackmail
you
with
edit?
it.
See, that's what I'm saying.
So that's the whole thing. Like, our podcast is completely unedited.
See, this
we
is
do not edit anything.
And this is why I like when we do the live stream, is because I feel like when I
We're
live stream
accountable.
it, suddenly everyone's like, oh, let me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because that one time JB said that.
Oh my God.
He did. Yeah.
Oh my God, did
I'm
you? I
so
haven't heard
happy.
that one. Oh wait, did you cut it out or is it actually on there?
Context.
No context. Which episode is it?
It's the episode titled JB Says the N-Word.
Can't believe I missed
The
that.
one where
You
Going
can.
for an all in the family sort of podcast.
So if you don't mind, as I diverge from this podcast about the music industry, what is the context? Jay?
I don't
Okay,
even remember.
look, here's the thing. You need to stop bringing that up because every listen, because every
it wasn't
single
me
episode,
this time.
Yeah, I brought it up.
every
You aim your indignation to the left.
no, I'm still pointing at Alberto.
I didn't get to it yet. It was on my agenda.
Every single episode, it gets brought up, and then I have to explain it, and we spend 8 minutes just doing this every single time. I like recurring
Fuck
bits,
it. All right,
but
so
this
you-
is not a
you
good
have-
recurring
Are we allowed
bit.
to swear on this too? Right?
Yeah,
we're allowed
whatever the
to
fuck
fucking
you want.
swear. All right, so
Balls.
you have,
Colorful.
if I may,
Dickholes.
for 1 second, if I may, for 1 second, take control for 60 seconds. You have 30 seconds to explain the context, and I have 30 seconds to react, and then we will drop it. Is that cool?
I can answer it in 3 seconds.
Go for it.
We were discussing historical fiction.
I need more.
So do I, because I don't actually remember
What are you
the
talking
incident.
about?
I
Oh
just
my
remember that it
fucking
happened.
god!
I discuss historical fiction all the time, and I never drop the N word.
He's timed it.
Say no. I did it already in 3 seconds. That was my 3 second thing.
No, 30 seconds.
Okay, in 30 seconds, we were discussing a work of fiction from the 1800s that had a character who had the N-word in his name, and I said the character's name.
Or you're talking about like Huckleberry Finn?
Yes.
Okay.
That was it.
And you said his name out loud.
And I said his name out loud.
Okay, he's just like,
Well,
Jesus. What was it, like Jim or Tom or something? What was it?
Jim.
Just call him Jim.
I'm not being baited into this one a second time. All right. I learned my lesson the first time.
All right, I guess we got over that.
Technically, he was just quoting Mark Twain, a amazing American novelist.
Huge racist.
But an amazing American novelist.
Yes.
Who never had a podcast.
If he did,
I would
He dropping
listen.
M-words left and right.
every other
Where
word.
would Mark Twain be then?
I'm so sorry.
I can't believe you called him by his full name. That's insane. It's like you don't. Like if you just said Huckleberry,
can you give me another?
we'd know who you're talking about.
Can you?
So if you said Jim, we'd be like, oh, that one character in that book called Jim. You don't have to give us his first name.
You could even describe him as the sidekick.
But that was his first name.
I mean, look.
Probably.
Yeah, the other was more of a title.
Look, the audio is there. I haven't deleted it. It's still up in our archive. You can go back and find the episode. I'm assuming fucking Roberto goaded me into some shit. I probably called him N-word Jim, and he was like, "Oh, what's the N-word stand for?" And then
Apparently,
Yeah,
he
that
turned
might
into Kermit the
actually-
Frog.
Well, I know what I'm doing on my
So,
day off tomorrow. So
there-
I'm lighting some candles, I'm pouring a glass of scotch, and I'm pulling up the episode entitled
Just-
JB Says the N-Word, and I'm
If you want
I'm
it
just gonna
to be
wait.
appropriate, you should make yourself a mint julep.
we like to think of that as the sweet spot in our podcast archive.
My God.
So, anyways, you run Story Screen Beacon.
I did. Yeah,
a movie theater that opened
I
up.
show movies there.
We've talked about this on Darkside.
How many
but
screens you got there, Mike?
We have 2 screens open to the public for public screenings, but we also have a third space that's got like couches and recliners and stuff like that we just opened up like literally 2 days ago from the moment of this recording. It's so swank. We do that for like private events and like fun special screenings and stuff like that. We're actually starting up not like this is not as a plug or I guess it's technically a plug. It's a plug. Plug this. We're doing like a education curriculum that we've been trying to build for a while, where it's like you get to come in, you pay $10, which is like our ticket price for everything, whether it's Toy Story 4, Lion King opening night, or like going to see Jaws or something. You pay $10 and you get to watch a movie with us every 15-20 minutes on a basis like end of scene kind of thing. Pause the movie, bring the lights up, discuss a certain thing about what we just watched. Like as an example, the first one we're doing is cinematography in The Shining. And I got my buddy Robbie Anderson, who works over at the theater with me. We're going to just watch The Shining in like 20-minute chunks, and every 20 minutes turn the lights up, discuss like Dutch angles, lenses, staging, stuff like that. And you get to watch The Shining on the big screen, 4K, beautiful, awesome shit, couches, cool. And by the end of it, you walk out with pretty much like a 101 basic knowledge on cinematography. And we're going to be doing that with stuff like Scott Pilgrim versus the World. We're going to be doing it with like Dark Crystal. We got a really cool plan to do one with like Iron Man 2 and stuff like that, as far as like dolly gripping and stuff. It's cool. It's fun.
The best of the Marvel movies.
The best.
Hands down.
I know the dolly grip from Iron Man 2. And he was also the dolly grip on Iron Man.
is he going to be doing any of the talking at the
He's
event?
going to be one of the guys in there. Yeah. He wants to do one of his other movies, and I'm trying to like, coax him away from him. I'm like, let's do Iron Man 2. Talk about the dolly grip action in Iron Man 2.
Okay. What do you have dates for those? When are they coming up?
The only one that we actually have solidified on a date is like The Shining, and that's going to be on the 23rd of July. I don't know when this episode's posting.
It'll post tomorrow.
And then there you go.
For our listeners, that's today, or sometime in the
Great.
past.
July 15th,
some non-
2019.
Some non-specific day in the past.
Yeah, so like next week we're doing the first one with The Shining. And
Sweet.
We'll see how that one goes and see how often we want to do them. We'll probably just do them once a month.
Cool. I like that. Cool. In fact, I was walking through Beacon earlier today and I saw the poster for that and was super stoked for it. It's a
Fun
great
shit.
idea.
It's going to be a lot of fun. We categorized it out like the other night because it's not just like some bullshit where like we're showing the movie and we just pause it whenever we want. Like we have set times that we pause it at the end of scenes so it doesn't disrupt the movie too much, where it's like if you want to be a part of the conversation for about 5 minutes real quick, you can. If you want to go to the bathroom or grab some popcorn,
So
you can do
alternatively,
that
it
too.
could be great for someone with a small bladder
Exactly.
because you've got breaks.
Yeah, it's the anti-Avengers Endgame.
That's rough.
Until you do Avengers Endgame.
Until we do that,
Right.
where we just talk
Meanwhile,
about
12 hours later,
Yeah, we've talked about your theater on our other podcast, Darkside
I've heard and
podcast.
it's very nice. Thank you very much. I always
He obviously
kind of
hasn't
go-
heard because we.
I blush a little bit in my car. It's very nice. You guys are super.
I mean, it's-
super
Let's talk something that kind of brings our two businesses together.
Nerds.
Oh, smelly nerds. Yeah, for sure. You should. This could even maybe spark an idea for a monthly class idea. But let's talk about some soundtracks.
Oh shit! I didn't
Since
know that's what this was going to be about. I came on the
since-
right day.
we have
I'll be over here.
all.
My, how the tables have turned, gentlemen.
No. On this podcast, you have to say, "My, how the turntables." You can use that joke later if you want.
Okay.
So let's talk a little bit about soundtracks, because I know we joke about this, but I feel like when you come in here, you mainly come in for soundtracks.
big vinyl soundtrack nut.
You should talk to this guy right here, Brian Kendrick.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
Cool. I'm good. I'm very good. Thanks for asking.
I guess I'm technically also Beehole over here. It's also a good person to talk to.
The old Bert. Mm-hmm. The old Bert.
So,
No, I love probably I have at my house I probably have about 600 vinyl records, and I would say easily 200 of those are all either movie soundtracks or scores, which I think it's very important to differentiate.
So you him here.
I think that nothing grinds my gears more than when someone's like, "Oh, you know that movie that had absolutely no songs in it? I really like the soundtrack." I'm like, "No, that's called the score."
Some bullshit is what that is.
And I have to behave myself and act like a grown up and be like, "Oh yeah, the soundtrack was really good, Jeremy."
See,
Why are you gonna bring Jeremy through the mud?
Jeremy's
like
just
that?
a
behind the counter,
random
so I
name.
don't
That's not
act
good.
like an adult. I'm like, are you looking for the score or the soundtrack?
Yeah.
There's a
Big
difference.
fucking
pal.
deal, man.
I wish you wore glasses so you could push them up when you say that to them.
Are you,
I was supposed to. I just
Brian,
Okay.
are
I
you
just drive
looking
at
for
night
the
without
work that
glasses on.
James
It's
Gunn
fine.
did or
I
the
was
work that
alive.
Tyler Bateman did? Like, what are you looking for?
So, how do you feel about the records that incorporate some of each? So they didn't have a full soundtrack, so they throw in like the end credit song or something in the release.
So I think there's three different versions of that, right? There's the albums that release like the actual soundtracks on them, like the songs on like one record, whether they're like a one side or like a double LP. Something like Guardians of the Galaxy, they have like,
Right.
you get a double LP. One's got the Tyler Bateman score on it. Knocks ass. It's awesome. And then one's got all that really awesome shit that you are buying like the vinyl record for most likely. Or you got something like Drive, which has like all of the songs on one side and then it's got all the Cliff Martinez stuff on the other side. I'm into both of those. I'm into all of them. It's kind of like if a movie hits me musically, and it has both like songs and a real good score, I probably want both of them. It's the one thing where it's like you can't get when you can only get one or the other. Where it's like with something like Baby Driver has like amazing songs in it, and you can get those songs on like a bunch of different vinyl records, but you can't get like the score that they have in there because the score is very minimal and there's not a lot going on there. But I want that. That's kind of my whole thing. I like the option to be able to have both or one or the other. I don't like it when one kind of overshadows the other and the other one's not even available on vinyl.
I will say, I think you can tell though when like a filmmaker puts real effort into the soundtrack, like Quentin Tarantino, who researches the music he wants to put in it. I mean, I remember the story for Kill Bill. He was in a department store in Japan and heard the 5, 6, 7, 8s, and they didn't have that CD anywhere, so he bought it from the girl at the cash register, and he put that. He ended up hiring them for the movie.
Totally, yes.
So I love like little nerdy shit like that.
I mean, Tarantino is like one of the best ones as far as like soundtracks and scores, and like he almost kind of like mixes that because he uses like a lot of Ennio Morricone like music in his stuff that's from other movies. So it's like sometimes I'll be traipsing through older movies that Ennio Morricone just happens to be making the music for it because he's made music for like, I don't know, like
million fucking
175 movies. And you're like, oh, that's the song from the Hateful Eight. Oh, that's the song from the Hateful Eight. Right. It's good.
Yep, and you bringing up Baby Driver is an interesting one, specifically talking about the blending of soundtracks and scores, because that one I appreciated how much he worked the soundtrack songs into the scores and also into the scenes and to what was actually happening in the scenes. Particularly, there's the whole gunfight shootout at the very end. Spoiler alert, I won't. There's a gunfight shootout at the end. And they time up the gunshots with the beats in the song. And they do that through a whole sequence of different things, and I really appreciated that.
Yeah, I have a really bad article that I wrote on StoryscreenBeacon.com that talks about Baby Driver as a musical in that sense, where it's like it's not verbally a musical where the characters, the lines that they're saying are in the songs. It's the physicality, everything that they're doing is musically in tune in the same way that dialogue would be in a musical. It's like a West Side Story getaway movie. It's really fucking cool. It's a cool fucking movie.
I've been trying to get JJ to see that movie since it's been out.
Oh, I know about this. Yes, that's right. It's a very good movie. He is actually an 8-month-old baby. Is the
can
main
drive.
character that can drive.
Voiced by Alec Baldwin.
That's cool.
Sounds like I'm in, yeah.
There you go. So you just gotta hook him.
Whenever he gets him in the door, that's
Yeah,
the
that's it,
story
right.
screen
Right.
philosophy for the theater.
I own a movie theater, man. It's all about getting him in the door, and you're good to go.
Boom.
I like really anybody caught that one.
No,
got
you got to make the zingers like you got to time them just right.
Yeah.
He doesn't like Scott Pilgrim either. I think he just doesn't like Edgar Wright. Maybe that's the thing.
Yeah, no, dude. Edgar Wright's like movies are fucking weird, dude. Like it's like some people don't dig certain mentalities and stuff like that. Whether or not like they like certain things that are kind of like them. It's all about like Edgar Wright is very precise. He is a very specific flavor of soda. And if you don't like that flavor of soda, you're not going to like any variation on that flavor of soda that he makes. You know?
Are there other? I didn't know those were the same person. So, are there other Edgar Wright films?
I mean, let's go down the line. We got Shaun of the Dead was his first one. He did Space. Did you see Space? The show he made? Space is awesome. You probably love it because it's like the comic book shop mentality going over to like vinyl record shop mentality. You probably dig
Space
a lot of
is
those
good.
inside jokes.
It's fun.
Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, which Hot Fuzz I think is like the greatest movie
I know I've
not
seen
made
both
by
of those.
Monty
I made him watch
Python. That's a
both Shaun of
Monty
the Dead and
Python
Hot
movie.
Fuzz.
I had
I made him
no
watch
idea
both
that they
of those
were
at some point.
all the same people.
Yeah, Shaun of the
at
Dead,
all.
Hot
Yeah.
Fuzz, At World's End, Scott Pilgrim vs. the World, Baby Driver. I'm missing one Edgar Wright.
Well, he did the screenplay for Ant-Man. Didn't
He did the
direct
screenplay
it.
for Ant-Man. He got fired from
Right.
it, and Peyton Reed came on and took that up, which is probably for the best.
We'll never know.
We'll never know. No, Edgar Wright's really good, but he's very particular. He's his cooking, like the meal that you're gonna eat, is the people who are into cooking really like it. They understand editing. Not that people that don't like it don't understand editing, but people that really are into like how this shit is developed, how things are written, how things are staged, how things are chopped in the bay. You go, wow, this is fucking insane. And it can kind of be a little like Fozzie glorifying. To anybody who's just watching it and like, I want a movie that's about this, they can go like, that's kind of fucking weird and I don't like it.
I like weird.
Yeah,
It's just not my kind of weird.
exactly. Yeah, everybody's got their own kind of weird. And Edgar Wright is a kind of weird.
Like I liked, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz. I love those movies, but like I didn't see Scott Pilgrim, and,
You're here.
and Baby Driver was fine, but I was just like, all right, this is about a person who
8-month-old
drives
baby
a
that
car.
drives, as we discussed.
I do that every
Thank
day.
you.
That's fucking cool.
I also have like
Granted, I do it very badly every day, but
I have big mommy issues, so Baby Driver hit me really good. Like you get Guardians of the Galaxy, I love those movies. I have mommy issues, I got daddy issues. Any movie that kind of brings those in kind of like a fun way nails me. I can't help it.
Yeah, same. That actually is what I remember Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2, feeling like I didn't enjoy it as much as the first, loving the whole end scene, and then in my second watching of it, loving it so much more.
Yeah.
And it's exactly that. It's like it's like a healing process, that movie. It's a healing process for nerds who can't address any of their emotional shit, so they have to sneak it into a Marvel Comics movie, you know? But they
So
still get a little bit of that healing.
Is that why you hung up on your mom earlier?
Shut up.
My dad's a planet.
Sorry, Mom. To be fair,
See that one.
I didn't hang up on my mom. I sent her to voicemail. It's very different.
Still rude.
Still very rude, yes.
You gave her the option. It's all right.
I think I went to see that with you. Guardians 2.
Could have.
That wasn't with me. It was probably, it
Okay.
must have been you.
Because I would not go to that.
We're the only ones who drag him to culture.
Ugh, strong words. Strong words. But see, I also I mean, maybe this is for a Dorkside podcast, but I also I just enjoy the experience of just going to the movies. Like, I'll go see shitty movies. I'll go see great movies. I'll go see, classics. I just, I love the experience of it. I just love going. There's something special about it. And I know that for some people, that means absolutely nothing. Like, some people totally prefer, I just want to be in my room, in my pajamas, on a tiny laptop, in my bed, and
I think you're right, because it's also
pajamas.
to kind of reel it back in from dork to dark. It's kind of the same person who buys vinyl records. You know what I mean? Like, there's
Yes,
a person
yes.
who will download their music. It's the same person who's like, oh, just wait for it to come out on video. Like, is this maybe not always the same person, but it's the same person that's like, I want a physical piece of music. I want to go to the movies and see these things, because I'm the same way. I like to go to the movies. It's an experience. It's fun. You get out in public. You're not talking with the people in the theater normally, but it's still, there's people around you. It's on this big ass screen, and it's just fun.
If I'm talking to someone in the theater, I'm usually yelling profanities.
Yeah, you know.
I like going to the movies too. It's
Yeah.
just a matter of there being a movie I actually want to see. But
Well,
it is when you go to a movie and there's like a whole big crowd reaction at the
Oh,
especially
yeah.
at the end. It's fun.
It's so much fun.
Like, remember when we saw Devil's Rejects and like everybody just clapped and cheered at the fucking end? Oh god,
Yeah.
it's still heartwarming.
And we still got the weird looks when we were laughing at the really inappropriate scenes.
Yeah.
Chicken fucker.
Remember how angry that lady was when we were laughing during Freebird?
I'm looking forward to the next
It's a
one.
good podcast.
I'm looking forward to
Okay.
the end of that trilogy.
Yeah, so am I. It's going to be good.
But yeah, that is a great view on it. Is music and movies, we affect people similarly, and and people are into so many different things, and that's part of what we've set up in here and tried to cultivate. Is we're like, whatever you like, we got you.
Yeah.
I like to say the register is the judgment-free zone. Other
Absolutely.
people here wouldn't like to say that. I like to say that. But it's whatever you're into, whether you're into
Free zone as
CDs.
long as you're in my face.
Yeah.
After you leave, it's totally
When they
If I could on like what BK was saying, like I completely agree with that. Where it's like art is like music and movies are art, and I feel like those are the two that are constantly removed from the idea of like art can be anything. Like anybody can just look at like. You can even take something like a photograph on Instagram, or you can take a painting or something, and everybody can go, I don't like that, but yeah, it's art, I guess, and sometimes art sucks. Music and movies are this kind of like pop culture art form that is ingested by a lot of people. And I think that like going to see a movie at a movie theater with like the best sound and the best quality and the best situation that you can be in is a lot like buying music on like the best way that you can listen to this, which is vinyl. Like that's what it is. Like I don't really like, I love that whole idea. It was like, it sounds warmer, like that idea, but it fucking does. When you play like Aretha Franklin on a vinyl record, it sounds better than listening to it on Spotify. Sure, I still listen to it on Spotify in my car where I don't have a tables have turned, or as Berto would put it, turntables.
True.
But it's at home. That's like the place where the music is like the most inviting for me, is where I can hand select what I want to listen to for the next 12 minutes on one side and put it on and know that in like 12-15 minutes I have to come back and I have to physically flip it or change my mind and go to something else. And it's really interesting because you don't press like the sideways triangle on something and just let it ride and like pick whatever it wants for you. There's something to be said about committing to, I'm listening to this for the next half hour. And I own it, and I spent the money to get it, and that means I like it, and I'm going to listen to it right now while I make some chicken cutlet or tofu, sorry.
Whichever.
Made him-
Make
yeah.
like a
Again, see, it
tofu
doesn't sound as
burrito
good.
or
Just-
something
we'll-
like that.
we'll find a good one.
Taste as good
no,
either.
it doesn't taste good. Yeah, I think it's the same way with movies too, where it's like you can watch it on Netflix, you can watch it on Amazon Prime, you can do whatever you want, but going out to go see a movie, whether it's an old one or a new one, with a big group of strangers who are all going to be respectful and watch this movie and really enjoy it and clap and laugh, like it's completely different. It's a completely different thing. Nothing knocks like if you're a Spotify person or if you're a vinyl person, or if you're somewhere in between. It's the same thing with the movies. It's like whatever you get the most enjoyment out of at that time, go for it. But there's definitely a difference between ice cream and gelato. You know, it doesn't mean one's better than the other, but there's a difference.
Milk and eggs, bitch. Yeah. No vegan diet, no vegan powers. JJ doesn't get that reference because from Scott Pilgrim.
Yeah, I don't get it either then.
Sorry, guys. Sorry.
It's not a super good reference.
It was a really bad reference.
not to like push Roberto out too much more, but I have been very interested in asking JJ and BK as fellow soundtrack nerds. What is like? Pushing the wrong guy out. wait, who am I? Oh, you're the wrong guy. Jesus fucking Christ! Yeah, sorry.
4'9".
Man, this Jameson is really strong.
Hit you fast.
Danny DeVito.
But you know what? No. I think this. If we're on the JB, if you agree, if we're on the round table discussion of Darkside, which is music based, like favorite soundtrack.
I could be in on that.
That's
Like favorite
wait,
thing
soundtrack
to like
or score if we're gonna do that.
either one. No, like
Either
either
one?
one. Like really,
Okay.
you could pick like you go like, yo, I love Assault on Precinct 13 score, or I like this soundtrack from Drive or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
Like not even like top one favorite, just like one that really like sparks up.
Sure. In fact, every year at the end of the year, we do our top 10 podcast, where we pick the top 10 albums of the year, and it has expanded over the years, and now we include best soundtrack,
Yes.
best reissue, other things like that to try to include those folks in our top 10s.
Don't you think it's shameful that you have to give soundtrack its own category, and you can't assume that best soundtrack can't be its own record on the top 10 list?
You always throw a fucking Voracek QR in there anyway, so it's already in.
One time.
He's never actually made a top 10 of my lists.
I can tell you a soundtrack that was very influential on me. Was the Fight Club soundtrack.
That's a good
Or
one.
I guess
is that Chemical Brothers?
Soundtrack and score. The Dust Brothers.
Dust Brothers.
Yeah.
Chemical Brothers.
Yeah.
Jesus.
When I was
Idiots.
when I was in college, that was my studying album. Because it's like it's kind of quiet and it's subtle enough, but like you could focus on other things. I guess, and also at the time I was only listening to pretty much like thrash metal and fucking, really noisy things. So it gave me like a good palette to study with. And so I listened to that. God,
That's the best thing about
all the
scores.
time.
You can kind of like put them on while you're doing computer stuff because, like, guess what? The computer plays shit. It's good.
I don't know. Brian's put on a couple scores that have been terrifying in here,
Sure.
do that.
Right.
As
which
you
also
should.
is a compliment, truly,
I
to
try
the
and-
soundtrack themselves.
Yeah, I try to wait till there's no customers in the store. 'Cause
You're more
I'll scare 'em
respectful than I
out of
ever
here.
was.
You, Brian.
What? I'll skip JJ. He said he can get in on
There's
this
no
one.
order on this
There's
thing.
no order? Okay. I'd say then something that
Sorry, Danny.
I don't know if it's a top soundtrack, but definitely something I listen to a lot is the Chud score.
Fuck yeah.
I fucking love that movie so goddamn much, and that score is so good. It's so
good.
minimalist.
It's like completely
and just
removed.
straight synth.
You
Like,
guys, are you guys the podcast? Fuck. Are you guys the podcast that brought up the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles?
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
that
yeah.
fucking score
Yeah.
is
Uh-huh. Oh, yeah.
insane. You
That
don't
was-
even need the
Yep.
movie with it.
Right.
But if you've seen the movie, you're like, oh, yes, this
You
is
can watch
when
the
that-
movie again in
Right.
your brain.
Yeah,
listening
absolutely.
to that record.
Totally.
Yeah, I think me and JB were working that night when we got in here, and I was like, "Oh, we're putting this shit on."
Yeah.
and we pretty much just quoted the entire movie while it was on.
Yeah, I feel like Chud's like the same way, where
Yeah.
you're just like, yes,
It's
yes,
just
yes.
I just love 80s synth in general, and that just captures it because it was such a like a low budget film, so the score was low budget, and it just reflects that, but in the best way it can. You know what I mean? I love that fucking soundtrack. I listen to that a lot, and I probably shouldn't listen to it as much because I'm gonna wear out the record, and I think it's fucking out of print, so I got to be careful.
You say it gives you a chuddy.
Oh, you better believe it.
I've always said like the best 4 words that you can see at the beginning of a movie is music by Tangerine Dream. And you're like, well, they're going to do something right now.
Something
I'll
is
tell
going
you
to
that.
happen. Yeah.
Well, even I picked up one recently that I picked up purely on what it was alone, which was the score to Crank 2, which was all
Mike
done by
Patton,
Mike
right?
Patton.
Yeah.
But when I put it on at home, it's not even like... I think most people, when they hear, a score for a movie, they picture, kind of like long, sweeping,
Yeah.
leaning more minimalist, shall we say, but these very, cinematic style songs. This was literally, it was like a Mike Patton album. It was just songs. And there were like all these, I'm a huge Mike Patton fanboy. And honestly, it was like a delight to put it on because I was like, holy shit, I just got like a secret Mike Patton album that I feel like many people maybe just don't even know exists because they, shied away from a score to a movie.
At the risk of seeming less than, who's Mike Patton?
Mike Patton is maybe the guy that I fanboy out the hardest. If you thought I fanboyed out hard for Baroness.
Is this the guy that
He
looks
just
like
had a chuddy.
Farva from
I gotta...
Super
I
Troopers?
gotta. He was the singer for Mr. Bungle and for Faith No More and
Okay,
Tomahawk.
yes. That's
And-
where Michael Patton is popping out in my head.
Yes. Dead
He's the guy that
Cross.
shows up in Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey?
No, that's Jim Martin of Faith No More, the guitar player.
Damn, well, that's not him.
You can't hear me pushing up my glasses on the podcast, but I assure you,
Well, we'll find a sound
I
effect
am
for it.
pushing up my glasses.
I tried as hard as I could, and I didn't get there, so I'm cool losing the race.
He,
It's
res-
totally
he
fine.
respects the effort.
That's a super obscure reference, and the fact that you even recognized that it was someone from Faith No More is huge.
Station.
I got you, bro. He also sang for the Dillinger Escape Plan and for General Patton versus the Executioners and for Mondo Cane. As Dan Aloisi told me that it's not Mondo Cane, it's Mondo
GB is
Cane.
floating off of the ground right now. He's floating into the corner.
I'm actually being raised by my erection. But so that was a surprise for me because, like I said, I was expecting. Like, he's done a couple other scores. Like, he did a Netflix movie, I want to say it was 1342.
1922.
1922.
Thank
Stephen
you.
King
Oh,
short
Thomas
story.
Jane.
Yeah.
Yes. So he did the score for that, and that was much more that way.
Was
what
it?
people
Yeah,
consider a
yeah.
traditional score. And
It
Crank
was actually a
2.
very good score, if memory is serving me correctly.
pretty
There was
good.
actually-
The movie was
the movie was
I
fucking
like,
weird.
watched
Yeah.
the movie and I was
It was
like,
cool.
yeah, let's see what this is. And I was actually like, yeah, that's pretty good.
This got dark fast.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thomas Jane versus Nightmare Rats. Into it.
Yep.
It's the name of my new band.
I'd listen to it.
Right? Right?
If I was going for a soundtrack, one of my go-tos would have to be the No Country for Old Men soundtrack.
I
did
fucking
that?
love that movie.
It's a really dumb joke because there's no soundtrack. But for real, the Darjeeling Limited soundtrack is great. Like, that's a great just compilation of music.
Mm-hmm.
By the time Champs-Élysées comes on, you're like, yeah, I'm fucking in. I'm moving to India. And I feel proud of a score, actually, because I made Brian excited,
Oh,
which
my
made me like the soundtrack, the score more.
Chuddy.
If it's what I think you're
It
gonna
is.
say, oh my god, it's so fucking
I
good.
put it on because I'm a big Nick Cave fan, and I must own everything Nick Cave does. So his score
Anything you're about to say
to
is
the
going to be great.
assassination of Jesse
Oh,
James.
100%.
Yeah.
Warren Ellis, Nick Cave, baby.
It's so fucking good. I was back here looking at a used collection, and it just like all of a sudden it just hit me that there was a score on, and I'm like, what the fuck is this? This is fucking awesome.
So
And
fucking
so
good. It's so good. All of it is good. And then there's that one song towards the end, which I think it's called like it's like the Robert Ford song. It's
Yeah.
like the one where it goes through like he's an asshole and this is what he did later on in life, and you're just like, everything about this makes me want to stop being a bad person. It's so good. It's so good. Yeah, Warren Ellis and Nick Cave are just like on another fucking level.
Oh, it's so fucking good. I've never even seen the movie, and now I want to
The
see the
movie's
movie
also
simply just based off of that.
extremely
Like,
good.
Also, I'll bring in the propositions.
Yeah.
Because you're gonna fucking love
Oh, yep.
Yes.
And that's Nick and Warren too, right?
Yep.
It's both
Nick
of them together,
wrote
right?
The entire movie.
And he wrote the movie.
Yeah. Oh,
Proposition is like
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that
Mamma
just
mia.
recently got
Yeah.
reissued, didn't it? Within the past few months or so, 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, it came out. It was this year.
Okay.
Yeah.
well,
Gold vinyl.
like a vinyl soundtrack.
Yeah, gold
Reissue.
LP.
Yep.
Damn, do you guys have that here right now?
We might.
We
also
might.
with the assassination of Jesse James. we got this in there as well.
I'd fucking spend so much money on that immediately and feel bad about it.
Also, you can't go wrong. Like you already said it, but the Tarantino soundtrack, like Death
Yeah.
soundtrack is phenomenal, and the vinyl is really fucking cool with the bullet splatter.
Death Proof's one of the
It's
best.
the only one I
ones.
don't have actually.
Yeah, I don't have Death Proof. I have Planet
Yeah.
Terror.
I
don't
do
have Death
like
Proof.
the
Yeah.
what was the one that really surprised? Because I bought the Hateful Eight one from you guys, which is like a lot of fun because there's just so much going on in that movie as far as like actual songs and like old scores and new scores. But the one that like really surprised me is a buddy of mine got me the Inglourious Bastards one. I didn't realize how much like really cool music is in that movie. Like you watch it, and I think Inglourious Bastards is Quentin Tarantino's best movie.
I fucking love that
I'm
movie.
I'm very sorry if that.
No, I'm not offended.
I think it's his best movie. It's not my favorite, but I think it's his best made. And the music in that I feel like kind of just like flows over you a little bit because the movie is just so good and the music works just like so elegantly. You don't notice the seams, you don't notice the music happening, and when you listen to the score and the soundtrack on its own, you're like, oh, that's right, they use like a fucking David Bowie song in this randomly somewhere.
Anybody ever listen to Tom Waits' Night on Earth soundtrack?
Yes.
That's good weirdness.
I haven't listened to much Tom Waits. Any Tom Waits that I've heard has pretty much been in the store because of you, I think. Yeah.
Well, Night on Earth is just
Was that a legit release, or did we get
no,
that from?
it was a promo edition of it, and it was
Okay.
for the Jarmusch film,
Right.
and so you already know it's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we're all looking at you now.
Oh, right. Yeah. Sorry. Options. Do I go with like an early soundtrack?
Oh my God.
Like,
How many linear feet of soundtracks do you think you have in your basement?
Spine to spine or end to end?
hold up. Well, they're in 12-foot cubbies.
12-inch.
No. They're 12-foot cubbies.
Square.
Wait, have you seen Birdo's record room?
I have.
Okay.
Oh, I should say
Perfect.
I saw it before it was finished.
True. Yeah. Still not full, but I'm working on it. 8 feet? Maybe 9? Yeah. I can't remember if I started the third column or not yet, but all soundtracks and scores.
I like you.
I gotta get working. I've only got like
You're
3
good.
feet.
You're a
of-
good guy.
of
I try.
scores.
I think. Okay, I'm going to go with one of the more nostalgic ones for me, which is the Braveheart score.
Deep
I
cut.
I
Who is
have James Horner.
that? I was gonna say
Yeah.
Newman or Horner.
Yeah.
I have one of his harmonicas.
This is the shit I put up with.
I'm with you. I got you here.
Thank you.
There. Dude, Braveheart's a deep cut. Like
Yeah.
that's like it really is. Like it's good.
Get me with one. That's the one.
Harmonica reference. But yeah, that's. I mean, I think I saw the movie when I was like 11. Always fucking loved the music. Made me want to go to Scotland when I was in college. I went back with my then girlfriend, and then I ended up getting married there like 2 years ago.
Fuck yeah.
You can. There's a video on my phone. We drove up to this island, Isle of Skye in northern Scotland, and I put the fucking soundtrack on the car as you hit the Highlands, and it is like Horner spent time there to like translate that site because it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, there's something about the soundtrack that is like Scotland. Like it's like you listen to it and you know exactly where this movie takes place. You know exactly what's going on, and I think that's the beauty of a score. Like,
Yeah. I watched Braveheart like for the first time in probably like a few years, like last year, because it was just like it popped up on HBO or Netflix or something, and I watched it, and like the first thing that hits you is like that sweeping, foggy like shot of the mountains, and it's just and you're like, oh, yep, I'm watching Braveheart right now for 2 hours.
Yep.
And
You're
you go
in.
in and it's so good. And as you get in like the smaller moments and like that's it, it really is like one of those movies that's like a super underrated score. I don't even think that one won
I don't think it
the
won
Oscars that year.
no.
Like Braveheart was kind of like really snubbed outside of like the director
right.
picture kind
and
of
Mel
category.
Gibson didn't do. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Braveheart's that's a
personal
hot choice.
favorite.
That actually makes me feel really bad about what I want to pick. No. Shit.
Do you think that in Scotland there's just a group of locals who, you know, they see like a rental car tearing across the highway blasting Braveheart soundtrack and they're just like, you know, tending their sheep, rolling their eyes, going, ugh, another one.
What really got him is when he came out for the wedding and he was dressed as Mel Gibson.
He had the paint
Half
on.
blue face.
No pain. I'm talking like side of the highway, Mel Gibson. The drunk Mel Gibson.
Oh my God! I just had like a piece of information hit me from the back of my head, which was that Braveheart couldn't be nominated for an Oscar because technically the main theme is based off of original, like older, like an older song, and they kind of based the theme and the tempo off of it, so it made it so that they weren't. I remember learning that because I remember getting. Jesus, this is coming back to me all at once right now. I remember getting an argument with somebody that I was like, Braveheart won Best Score. What else beat it that year? Which was like, that had to be what, 96? Something,
yeah,
95,
mid-90s.
96. And I was like, what beat that? And we looked it up and we saw what beat it. And then we looked at the nominations. And Braveheart wasn't even nominated. And we looked up why it wasn't nominated. And it was because the Gaelic, like Scottish,
Yeah.
like pipes were based off of like
pulled
an
from a more
original,
traditional piece.
exactly.
Yeah.
And it's like you can't, even though the rest of the score was just like naturally made, it wasn't built. It was built off of something else that you can't be nominated for the Academy Awards. Fun.
Interesting.
Well, what are you gonna pick, Mike?
Well, now that he picked Braveheart, I feel like I gotta go in the complete opposite direction. I mean, I was gonna pick because I recently watched Thief for the first time, which is Michael Mann's first movie with James Caan, Tangerine Dream. Did the
saw
score,
that one.
and
Yeah.
it is
neither did I.
insane.
Yeah.
It is so fucking good.
Oh yes,
It's the dopest movie you've ever seen.
All right.
It's on like
this out.
Amazon Prime right now too, where you can just like pull it up,
Then I'll
and it's
definitely
like
check
it's about like skeevy little rats doing skeevy little rat things, and James Caan's amazing in it. Tangerine Dream score is great. One of my go-tos is, and I'm just gonna do it. The Black Stallion score is beautiful.
The
It is-
Disney movie?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the score to the
was
Black
gonna try
Stallion
that
is
Yeah.
great.
It's a horse.
When the love of my life, Diana DeMiro, when we moved in together, we incorporated our vinyl record collection.
that's commitment.
move.
Yeah,
That is commitment. That was the whole thing. They are commit.
Oh, shit.
Well,
Good for you.
Yeah.
she's got her 2, and I've got my 10. You know what I mean? But it's like some move out and go in and go out and
Yeah.
go in. And it's got to this point now where it's like, so wait, whose is this one? And I'm like, I don't know, both of ours.
Yeah, I know exactly what I own.
Yeah, it's kind of like
Granted, Jenny only owns a couple of records, and they're pretty much just shit I bought for her because I was like, "Hey, you need this," but I know exactly what I own. I'm taking it with me if anything ever happens.
And I'm coming for him.
Listening, Jenny.
but she brought in Black Stallion, and I had never seen the movie, and she played the score for me. So it was one of those few movies where it's like I heard the score first from somebody who cared so much about it, and I was like, dude, this score is like really good.
That's thought of another one I should have said.
And then I watched the movie, and I was like, the score's even better when there's stuff happening. And then it's like every time I listen to the score, I'm reminded of not only like the moment that like the most important person in my life shared music with me that really made them feel special. I'm also reminded of that time where, wow, that music's really good. Wow, this movie's really good. Wow, this music's even better now. It was kind of like a jump. So
That's cool.
that's really good.
Nice.
I was gonna say Braveheart, but That's not true. That's not true.
You chose
I
way
should have
better.
chose Braveheart. That's a fucking baller choice.
See, I got another horse movie I could have cited too. Man from Snowy River score.
Unfamiliar.
Really?
I will
I was
listen.
going to say
Check that
Rocky,
out.
the
Yes.
Italian
Yeah.
stallion. Silly stallion I listened to. Again, I've been drinking tonight. I'm sorry.
Never apologize.
BK and JJ are very funny.
Well, y'all just made me think of one, which might be a bit pedestrian for tastes.
Oh.
But the Trent Reznor Atticus Ross score to Ken Burns Vietnam
Ooh.
syncs so fucking well with that documentary.
Why is
God damn.
Why is
I
that
don't know about
pedestrian?
you.
Man?
I think that's fucking
yeah.
stupid.
I don't think did they release the LP for that?
I think that
Trent
they
Reznor's
did.
a shit, man.
Yeah,
I need to look because I have all their other stuff. The last one I remember getting was the water one.
Into the flood
Yeah.
or something
Yeah.
like that.
But like the way that they did it to sync with all that footage was just it's heavy. The
It's
whole thing
fucking
is
wild. Like
Have you seen it?
Yes.
Thank God. I've been
It's
telling everybody here to watch this.
it's
fucking
very
documentary.
insane that TRAR they keep getting involved in these projects where you're like, well, that's the Trent Reznor Atticus Ross.
I
Okay,
love that
continue.
you just did that.
I
Trar.
feel like I'm in the newsletter now.
Yeah,
Wait,
sorry. It's
With their powers
JB
combined.
JB looked at me weird, which I'm used to at this point in this podcast right now. But JJ also looked at me very weird, and I was like,
I
what?
don't know what. Well, I looked at him for guidance.
I've never called him that, but I was right there with you.
To be fair, can't we like celebrity name that instead of making like a? Can we just make like
It's our brain.
like Tross?
No,
you
Trar.
know.
It's when they combine their powers, they form
Yeah.
an amazing musical robot.
And then when
Tranicus
Albert Finney joins the
Reznos.
cast, it's the Albatross.
Oh boy. Stretch
I'm
teeth.
so mad at that, but also very impressed. It's like I don't know, but it is like like the Trar. It's crazy, like when they take on projects and you're like, are they going to be able to fucking do that? And they do it every fucking time. It's
Yeah.
nuts. It's nuts. Like the Social Network is another one where you're just like, what a fucking baller ass album that is. And then you do Gone Girl and you're like, what the fuck are you guys even doing? It's nuts. And then you do something like where like, well, the guys that did those two David Fincher movies, they're going to do the Vietnam documentary. And you're like the one where they use like air conditioners, but it works and it's insane. They are insane. They're probably like top 5 musical compositionists, like movie wise, working right now. They're insane. It makes they can do anything.
I think laying one down that I think the whole table can agree on. But I'm not going to say Mike because I don't know his tastes. But I think all of us pretty much at this table agree on the Twin Peaks soundtrack, David Lynch with Angelo
We're talking
Badalamenti.
the score.
Yes,
The
sorry,
score,
sorry,
yes.
the score, yes.
I will say that I agree with you with one exception, which is that the Twin Peaks season 2 soundtrack is just a confusing goddamn. It just fucks with
I
your
think
emotions
that's why they
it's
took
all,
so long to release it.
well, because they just mix all the themes, and so
Yeah.
it's like they start with so and so's theme, and it's blended with someone else's theme, and it's just like you're listening, you're like, what the fuck is going on? Like
It's
what?
a lot like
what is
Twin
happening?
Peaks season 2.
yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
But I would say that I'll never listen to that solo.
No?
I think it works in the show, but I have no interest in listening to it without the show.
okay.
Ain't done anything else that I might know because I
Season
don't know
2.
if you guys know. Never seen Twin Peaks.
Really?
Oh.
Saving it.
Also, like I
I've
said,
watched
I
the
didn't
first
wanna-
season.
Didn't want to assume Mike's tastes here, but
Yeah.
he also did Nightmare on Elm Street 3, Dream Warriors. He did that one. Yep.
He did Firewalk with Me.
Yep.
Which actually, no, I have listened to Firewalk with Me because I hosted a party where they were screening that for a birthday, and I just didn't look, but I heard. Sounds
It's going to be the
great.
best 10-year-old birthday party ever.
I feel like he did something else that I should know. Like, we
I
should
don't-
know, but
yeah, I don't know.
Can't think of it.
Angelo, you're killing me.
Well, the
As
one thing
weird
I've-
as it is, Dream
Angie.
Warriors gives me an inkling enough.
Yep. So, it's
The
very
one thing
odd.
I've enjoyed is reading like some of the interviews with these composers, especially like the 80s synth, like the horror guys who are fascinated with the resurgence of their popularity. Because be like Mondo, Death Waltz, they're getting, they have the interviews and the liner notes and stuff like that. And the guy's like, I did this in my basement, in a week. and I had no idea people would be collecting this, 15, 20 years later.
I feel like that's how it is with a lot
I
of
mean,
them,
I
too.
fucking-
Like, it was
I saw-
such a small scale, and they're like, "Oh yeah, here, this movie releases
Yeah.
sometime soon. Do that shit in 3 days," and they just do it.
Do it, and it becomes immortal.
Yeah.
I mean, I saw a fucking John Carpenter tour New York City a few years ago, and he was up there. He's like, I don't do this.
Yeah, like
He's
it's
like,
fucking
I don't-
Crazy. He had like, I remember like reading some sort of interview. He's like, I had a basic understanding of timing, and so I just plugged that into a keyboard and a synthesizer, and that was that. Like the whole Halloween theme is just a 4/5 timing.
Yeah.
Oh, trust me, I watched that old
also
man play
the
that
most,
thing.
like,
He's up there
humble
rocking
person
out
in
like
the world.
this.
Oh yeah,
You watch interviews with him, and you're like, dude, you have made like 5 of the greatest movies ever made. And he's like, yeah, I didn't know what I was doing. I'm just kind of.
and I think that's
Hanging out
fucking
with my
incredible. He's
kids
essentially
right
just a
now.
guy who
Yeah.
was like, I like this. I'll
Well, his
make
kid
this.
in his band
Hopefully, other
now.
people like it too. Like that's fucking great. Absolutely fucking great.
He's an insane man. Like he is like I one of my biggest dreams is to be able to synthesize score an independent movie with some buds. And I've done like live score, like where like there's like a drummer and a bassist and stuff like that, and I'm playing synth. We did like Nosferatu last year. We're doing City Lights in like a couple months. It's gonna be a lot of fucking fun. And I love the synthesizer and I love fucking around with it. And it's just like it's like the most fun thing in the world. And when you like listen to John Carpenter talk about it, he's just like, it's easy. It's
thanks,
just
John.
easy. I just like, I think of a thing in my head and then like I did it. And then like
I'm famous.
exactly. You're just like, no, John, that's not how it works.
When I saw him live, he had the full band and stuff like that. He did, he started in on Halloween. The whole fucking theater erupts, and he's this old guy. He's got sunglasses on, but he's up there. He's just
Yeah.
and like people are just going crazy.
When I was doing the Nosferatu synthesizer and I was like kind of playing the overture at the beginning as
Yeah.
people were walking in, I had like a bunch of kids ask me like, "Can you play the Halloween song?" And I was like, "Oh yeah." And I went, "Da-na-na-na." And I did that, and they were like, "No, the Halloween song." And I was like, "That is the Halloween song."
Go take your seats, kids.
Because I can't
learn a
do
fucking
more
thing or
than
two.
4 keys and keep my shit together. I'm not dun this. I'm gonna. Dun-dun-dun.
Well, I think that really quick, while we still have you here, I think we should just take a quick pause from this, and we should move to a couple questions that some of our listeners have sent to us already.
Okay.
That might be relevant to what we're talking about. I'll start with one that is not relevant at all. This one is from this is from John Benjamin. Other JB.
Other JB, how are you?
He's good.
You're good.
I'm also good.
Good.
He says, and I'll leave this to the whole panel. Specifically, we'll start with Mike though. Best Spider-Man: Maguire, Garfield, Holland.
Ooh,
Maguire. It's definitely not Garfield. Holland's been in 1. Leave me alone.
He was in 2.
I don't know. I really.
He was in 2.
I like.
Oh well, I
Garfield.
haven't seen Far From Home, so
I haven't yet either.
It's 2. It's called math. I'm not very good at it.
best Spider-Man or best Peter Parker. This is the thing.
Oh,
Get your shit
okay,
together.
okay.
What's going on here?
He said specifically best Spider-Man.
Best Spider-Man. Maguire. Spider-Man 2 is like the best superhero movie ever made. So,
Agreed.
Yeah.
One.
No, you know what?
It's on the top.
in my
level.
humble opinion, I'm
Spider-Man
sorry.
2
All
is
right, there
amazing.
it is.
I agree with
can't
you.
judge
Got a
when
really
you say
good
that.
score. It's Danny Elfman, man. Like, what else do you want?
I'm gonna go Garfield.
Yeah, that's where I'm going.
Is my fave.
I like Garfield.
Because something about that love connection between him and Emma Stone, holy fuck, is if they just made a movie that was the two of them, left out all the Spider-Man shit, I would watch the shit out of that. They were so fucking good together on camera. JJ?
By Garfield, I assume you mean Bill Murray accidentally taking the role as Garfield, so I will choose Bill Murray.
Okay.
I award you no points.
I meant
Otherwise,
And may
who
God have mercy on your
cares?
soul.
Finally, this is what I came here for.
I meant Garfield, the 31st U.S. president.
James Garfield?
Yes.
Shocked.
This one is from Eves.
I didn't answer, fucker.
You did. You said.
I wasn't. I was undecided.
You said McGuire.
No, he
no.
just- he
I was
got my
undecided.
back.
Yeah.
I think I gotta go to McGuire.
This one's from Eves. What upcoming movie and or album are you looking forward to the most?
Am I first again?
No. That's a big question, really.
Yeah. Well, what movie I'm looking forward to the most is obviously the first Tarantino movie in a fucking while.
Long time.
Once Upon a Time
Yeah.
in Hollywood sounds great. And you know what? The fucking soundtrack to that is probably going to be great. So,
Yeah.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Ditto, because I didn't remember that was coming out. That's a movie I'm genuinely excited to go see.
All right.
It's going to be great.
Okay, well, this one's from Ariona.
I don't think you asked
Nobody
anybody else.
I'm the only one that answered that question. JJ got my back on it. It's like,
It's just because I don't really care. So the next one is from Ariona. Brian, this one will be yours. Favorite and least favorite horror movie and why? Let's just do least favorite.
it's a great
Least
one.
favorite.
That's a
That's
great
Because, well, we talked
question.
about a lot of our favorites already. Let's talk about least favorite.
That's really hard to say a least favorite because I've disliked a lot of horror movies. I'll say favorite real quick just because I know off the top of my head. Night of the Living Dead, 1968. I've seen that movie like 200 times and I fucking love it. Least favorite's really hard. There's been so many bad movies. Am gonna one that sticks out just because I saw it in the theater and I was really upset afterwards was The Skeleton Key. I don't know if anyone ever saw that movie. The movie was fucking bad. It was really bad.
Johnny Depp?
No, it was.
It's like she's like Jennifer Chastain, but she's not her.
Yeah, I can't.
Naomi Watts. It was Naomi
Naomi
Watts.
Watts,
wasn't it?
yeah.
Yeah.
That movie was pretty bad.
Where she's in a haunted house, right? And then she
She's-
turns out she's the ghost.
Now she's like taking care of.
That's the others.
Of
with,
like some
Nicole
old
Kidman.
person, and then like they're haunted, and then she ends up being haunted, and I don't know,
I'm
it was just
over it
really
already.
not good.
Yeah.
It was just really not good.
You're going to say that in a world where we have multiple Annabelle movies?
Well, okay, listen.
We're talking serious films.
You also got to understand. I've had this conversation with other people just in general. I have a very low standard of movies. I have two modes. That movie was fucking terrible or it was entertaining. So if it was entertaining enough, all right. That's
that.
where it goes. Where most of the Annabelle movies, they were entertaining enough.
Yeah.
They weren't great. They weren't like highbrow cinema and they weren't even great horror
JB, have you
movies.
seen
But-
any of the Annabelle movies?
I'm a purist, so
So
I...
no, disregard it.
Well,
What if we did an Annabelle movie, but she came home?
Go on.
the first Conjuring I liked though. With
Yeah.
Yo, the
Annabelle
Conjuring
I saw
movies
that,
actually
yeah.
slap.
Yeah, I
They're
thought it was
pretty
really
fucking
good.
cool.
I thought it
Yeah.
was
They're
very
cool.
like
Even the second one I liked.
yeah, they did a lot of stuff
Yeah.
where it was like they didn't go for just gore and stupid shit. It was very like creepy.
Well,
And I liked
that's my main issue with horror movies these days is they
Yeah.
have such license to do gory shit and show everything humanly possible
and-
that there's no more psychological
Yeah, to me that's
tension behind
not
it.
scary. That's not
What
scary.
was that
That's
movie
just
with
gross.
Ethan
And-
Hawke with like the Sinister? Did you
Yes.
see Sinister?
Yes.
I fucking loved
Sinister
Sinister
was
because I
good.
went into Sinister being like, yo, this movie's gonna suck. And I was like, yo, that was a really good movie, guys.
Yeah, I thought Sinister was cool. And then the second one, we won't talk about the second one because the second one was pretty
Didn't
not
see
good.
it.
Yeah, you're better
Sinister.
Don't need it.
Much more
It's
sinister.
actually called Sinister and
Although
Sinister.
I do
I do feel
that, the dude from The Wire season 2 who was like the cop in Sinister, and I think he's the only character that like plays over in the Sinister 2. He's playing a character in It Chapter 2,
Is he?
which I
See,
am very excited about.
actually, I was gonna say to JB's last question that I'm really looking forward to It Chapter 2 and the soundtrack too. That because the first soundtrack was really good. Was it Benjamin Wallfish? Something
Just
like
make a
that? It was
Benjamin Button joke.
Welcome to the podcast.
deep cuts.
Love you.
I love that movie.
We need to hang out outside of
You may not want to
this.
bring it to your cinema friends.
No, we should. You should come to the cinema and check it out. But hey, more
I'd love to
importantly,
do that.
we should do like a Darkside screening. We should do a thing.
Captain Ron, I'm still waiting on
Yeah.
it, guys.
Fuck yeah.
This guy's idea.
Guys, like I'm waiting. Like you guys give me the date. Captain Ron is ready to rise.
Happens every day right around sundown.
To give you an idea of his movie sense of humor,
What do you say, Swab?
at one point, was it high school I took you to X-Men 3? So X-Men 3,
no.
admittedly, horrible film. But my
life.
my brother and I
Oh god, your brother
decided
looks so good.
to cosplay as Nightcrawler and Colossus. So I had like silver body paint on. He was all blue. We had a tail and everything.
I fucking love this story already.
And he was like, "Hey, I'm gonna come. Like, or what are you gonna dress up?" No, it's not really my thing. And so you ended up. You can tell him what
So I figured out who was in the movie, and Kelsey Grammer played Beast.
Of course he did.
So I went as Beast, as
Your crane.
I knew it was going there. I fucking love it.
I just wore a suit.
A crushed velvet dinner jacket.
with blue lining. And then there's people that wanted to take their fucking pictures after the movie. And so like they're like Mac is in this pose, like whatever the fuck that thing is, and you're standing there, and then there's me standing there, and they're like, "Are you with them?"
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Oh, that was good.
That's the fucking best.
So we also got another question for Ariana.
Oh, are you still here?
They asked Megadeth or Metallica? Rapid fire.
Metallica.
Megadeth.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, don't get me wrong. I like
That's
Megadeth.
mainly my dad right there, yeah. I mean, Last Action Hero.
I often quote Peace Sells, but who's
Symphony
buying a
for
lot just
Destruction.
for fun, really. Just I say, what do you mean? And then fill in the blank with whatever's going on around me, just because I have a good time with it. Who can't love Dave Mustaine?
Am I kind
Get
of
well soon.
Am
Get
I
well
wrong
soon,
in
Dave.
thinking that Megadeth to Metallica is kind of like the under to the over? Like Metallica is the more known. So I'm kind of like Megadeth is the hipster Metallica.
That's a bumper sticker we're going to make
Did I
right
just
now.
do that? Did I just do that? I did.
It's like prime rib and Salisbury steak. I feel like.
I don't get
Which
that
one
reference.
Salisbury steak?
It's like tofu and
Good.
not tofu.
Because I love Salisbury steak and rice. Is that all the questions?
No, we got two more, including one from Two Dudes Movie Reviews.
Ooh.
But I'm going to save that for the Dorkside podcast.
Questions. I've asked for questions like every podcast and never get.
You just got written up in Hudson Valley Magazine.
Damn right. We got fans now.
Hudson Valley Mag
Yeah,
Bump.
man.
That's right.
Yeah. Every
13
N-word gym
reasons
is
why.
fucking riding on in.
So
welcome.
anyway, I think we should wrap this up. Mike, thank you for being here. This has been great. Thank you for being here. I felt like this was going to be a good fit, and I
This is a lot of fun. Can we do this every month?
sure.
Yeah, that's
Sure.
fine.
This is like a lot of. I live like 3 blocks up the road.
Oh, that's right. You live in Poughkeepsie.
I live in Poughkeepsie, man. I'm right here.
Okay, we'll talk.
I'm actually thinking about buying a house in Poughkeepsie. I like it so much. Yeah,
You should. Property values on the rise. Get in now.
that's the whole thing, baby.
But so we like to do a thing when we have guests on this podcast. And since you are sitting in our Black Keys
Should I
electric
strap him?
chair,
Scaring the fuck out of me.
or you could call it the hot seat,
JJ,
Okay.
unleash the gimp.
What's going on?
we like to do something
Uh huh.
for all of our guests that's called the Darkside Records Podcast Lightning Round.
Cool.
That's what I'm going to put in post. I'm going to put like lightning bolt sound effects.
So
I'll
I
do
should
it again, right?
lift up my hat so you can
Lightning
see.
round.
Is it all video?
No, it'll be on the podcast. But so this is just we're gonna rapid fire ask you a bunch of questions
Okay.
while you're sitting.
There you go. You're
Perfect.
killing him.
While you're
No, I can take it, but I'm just kind of like, what's up?
while you're sitting in the hot seat
Here,
here.
have more whiskey.
We're just gonna rapid fire ask you a bunch of questions. You just say first answer that comes to your mind.
Great. I have to pee, so I'll be very quick.
Okay, we'll make this fast. Okay, I'll start. What is love?
Diana DeMuro.
Aw.
Let's name my girlfriend.
Baby, don't hurt me.
That's where I was going.
Not a question. No, rapid fire, lightning round.
All right, favorite horror movie quote. One line.
I'm your boyfriend now, Nancy.
God damn it. I don't know. Go to him.
God damn it, I don't know. Go to him.
Stall or urinal?
Stall.
Horses or donkeys?
Horses.
Favorite yogurt.
Plain.
Whiskey or beer?
Whiskey.
Favorite real life serial killer?
John Bryan.
Favorite fictional serial killer?
The dude that's the bad guy in that show on Netflix with Gillian Anderson. What's that called?
The X-Files.
No.
Oh yeah, The Fall.
The Fall.
Fall.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah, that guy's fucking
James
good.
Dornan or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah.
He's a really good serial killer.
Score or soundtrack?
Favorite?
No, just score or soundtrack.
Score or
If you would-
soundtrack. Score. Yeah.
Best season?
Angels season 5.
I would have said fall, but that's fine.
Oh, sorry. I
literally
no,
thought that was wondering where it was gonna go. That was awesome.
I am so proud of myself for immediately going to that. I'm so sorry.
Favorite HBO TV show?
Dude, it's gotta be The Wire, but
Yes.
I love Carnival, but it's The Wire.
The Wire. No, it's The Wire.
It's The Wire.
Spaghettification or lack of oxygen.
Spaghettification.
I'm talking about black holes, goddammit.
I know. I'm sorry. I fucked it up.
Come on. No, you
fucked
were
it.
good.
I know. I'm sorry. I still apologize.
Ryan over there.
Gatefold or single sleeve?
That's rough. Can I do a follow-up question?
Yeah, why the fuck not?
Are there is it
Lightning round.
is it a double or is it a single?
I'm gonna say single.
A single. Yeah.
Single sleeve. Yeah. I
Single
agree.
sleeve,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think a gatefold on a single record is a waste.
It sucks.
Yeah.
I'd rather see them put the protection
But
in
it's
the
like if
record.
you have
I
a
kinda like
double,
it
it's like
sometimes.
I don't want them cramped up in there.
Unless it's amazing.
Yeah.
Like fucking
It's got to be something that earns
Autopsy
it,
of
but
Jane
that's all
Doe that, like,
specific.
Yeah.
opens up.
And last one. Anybody want a peanut?
It's Princess Bride.
Andre the Giant.
Good.
Who is Andre
You're
the
not
Giant?
answering.
But I want a peanut.
I'm
hungry.
You have to sit in the
I
chair.
told him that he could answer the last question beforehand.
Okay.
So
All right,
he's
fair
allowed
enough.
to. All right. So
Yes.
thank you. For
Congratulations,
following
you survived the
rules.
lightning round. Well done, sir.
Appreciate it, guys.
You can now pee before having to come back and sit in that chair and repeat this whole horrible process.
Mike, thank you for being here on our podcast. Anything you want to put out there? Where can people find you?
Dude, like go to storyscreenbeacon.com for like the most coolest shit. Like we're at Story Screen Beacon Theater in Beacon. You can find us on Fandango and all that fun stuff for movies and stuff. But like the coolest shit that we got going on is at storyscreenbeacon.com. We got articles, we got reviews, all of our podcasts. We're close to 200 episodes.
Jesus, we've been doing this for 6 years.
We've been
got
doing
like
ours
5.
for 3. No big deal. Whatever.
Well, listen. When the organizational masterminds are as these two.
Yeah. So,
have
like, you guys
200
are
episodes.
firing JB and hiring me now, right?
I wouldn't say fire. I mean demote. I think.
Well, no, that was actually part of my whole thing. I was like, fire him. I don't want him a part of this at all. But he has to stand over on the other side of the room
At
while
all
we
times.
record. Which, for people that don't see what this is that's like got to be at least like 100 feet away.
It's a distant corner of shame. Yeah.
Right about 100.
About 100 feet.
He's got to go in the booth.
Pretty
he can
good
go in the
at
booth. Hold on.
How am I going to hear?
JB, we're gonna have a talk after the episode's done.
Why'd you push the mic away?
I want it to sound distant, like I was trying to be secretive.
That's quality audio production right there.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
But no, thank you, JB. I respect your job completely. And yeah, storyscreenbeacon.com has all that stuff. You can find the name of the podcast in case it wasn't heard in the beginning, because it was kind of like weird in the beginning. It's Story Screen Presents. You can find us on iTunes, SoundCloud, anywhere you find your greatest, your favoritist
Signing up for
podcast.
this shit
We're on
right now.
Spotify now, actually, too. This is kind of thing that we both share, is we've been upped into the epsilon of amazing epsilon.
Sure.
Echelon.
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 Yeah.
I would go with
All right, so I'm fired. Hire JB back. He knew what echelon was.
The MC echelon.
And yeah, just listen to us over there, and that'll be just fine. You can follow us on Instagram at story_screen_beacon, on Twitter at story_screen. You can find us on Facebook. It's fun.
miss you.
You should definitely go to Darkside, though. That's us, yeah. You should definitely go to Darkside, though. They have like a lot of really good stuff. A lot of incense. They got a lot of stuff to smoke tobacco out of.
He just went to that side of the store for the first time today, so that's
It looks nice.
It's very
I
excited about
usually like beeline right to the soundtracks, and I just go like, all right, which Halloween soundtrack do I want to pick up today? Because I'm a fucking idiot or nerd, rather.
Filled
sorry.
the box yet?
Yeah.
Do you have the
No,
box?
nope. I'm not going to do that for a while. That's something that I have to earn. I'm not allowed to own all 6 soundtracks on vinyl and like a cool box set. I'm not there yet. I haven't earned that.
It's pretty good.
in our
All right,
eyes.
hold on. I'm gonna have
you
to go on
have.
the last question.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
What's your cherry soundtrack in your collection? Your favorite?
Not your first.
I like the term cherry soundtrack
Yeah,
because I thought it was. That's
First.
what I
No,
thought
yeah,
it was.
you-
I thought
yeah,
it was
you-
first.
Okay,
I was like,
it could be
that's
first
super
or like most
interesting.
prized possession.
My most prized possession in my soundtrack is probably in the movie soundtrack.
Yes.
Fuck, that's rough. I have a lot of really special little babies. You cut this out, like, and I'll just be like really smart and answer. Okay.
I'm probably going to cut this whole section and move it over into the lightning round anyway. So
Okay. This is very important. I can't give a bad answer. I have to give
that's
this.
not how the lightning round works.
I have
at all.
6. I have 6. I'm breaking it down. I'm breaking it down. It's gotta be Big Chill Part 2. Yeah.
All right.
No, I'm not serious. It's not real. No, I
Kill him.
I honestly think that my favorite one that I actually have is, unfortunately, I do have Kill Bill Volume 1 and Volume 2, and I play those all the fucking time. Like, I can't put on side 1 of Kill Bill Volume 1 without getting to side 2 of Kill Bill Volume 2. I can't do it. They're my favorites. But they're also like reprint stuff. I have a bunch of like fun originals. I'm not getting into this. I can't do it. Sorry.
All right. Well, once again, thank you for being here, Mike. We really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Everyone go and give him a follow, give all of his projects a follow, and come with us to see some movies at Story Screen.
Captain Ron.
It's the best place that you ever see a movie.
I had grand plans of talking about CBD on this podcast, but I guess we will save that for the next episode.
CBD is great, and I like it. You're
All right.
welcome.
And we
Well
have
said.
it. Okay.
We talked about it.
All right. So next episode will be about CBD and a whole bunch of other bullshit.
When are you guys recording that in October? Sorry.
Well played, sir.
Sorry.
This isn't the Dorkside podcast. Then it would be 2021. So thank you for listening. For everyone who's downloaded this, hey, we're back. And thanks. Of course, if you are listening to this, subscribe to us on the Apple Podcasts app. Subscribe to us on Stitcher or Google Play, or we're on Spotify. We're on all those things. Whatever the one is that you like, that you want to hear our really dumb comments on, go subscribe on that. So I'm JB.
Jumbie wants to be born now.
I'm BK.
Big Chill Part 2.
I'm Berto.
Thanks for listening. See you in the bins.
More songs from the Big Chill.